In this episode, we're going to be talking about the no comfort zone mindset, taking the 4 principles that I talked about in the previous 4 podcasts, tying that all together so that you can find success in your life, so you can live to your potential. My name's Dan, and I'm the host of the podcast. I really do hope you get a lot out of the show. More importantly, I hope that you do get out of your comfort zone so you can start living on purpose.
Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Anybody who has a desire to win, when you ask anybody who has a desire to win, one of the most important things you can ask them is, you want to ask them why. Why do you want to win? It's an inherent core value in a lot of champions. They have a desire to win. I can't tell you enough how many people just don't know. They walk aimlessly through life and they really truly don't know what they want. That's such a scary place to be, especially in today's time, because it is so easy to get distracted. It is so easy not to follow through. It is so easy to become average. I see it everywhere in my own life. I see it everywhere. I see average salespeople. I see average customers, average people. But really, when you start to get to talk to them and you start to ask the right questions, you're going to find there's some extraordinary people that are out there, and you're just going to have to listen to them. And it's my job, I believe, on planet Earth to help as many people as I can find out what's really, truly most important to them and get them to excel and go towards it. That's what I want to do. I want to motivate as many people as I possibly can. And in order to really, truly be successful, you're going to have the right mindset. You're going to have that championship mindset. You're going to have that winning mindset. And a lot of people, and I'm telling you, a lot of people are not woke. A lot of people are walking through life in a coma, just like I was for about 7 days plus 10 years, just walking through and not being aware of what's going on around them. And the reason that they're not aware is because, quite frankly, the adversity hasn't hit hard enough. Life, when you live it, will kick you square in the jaw. It'll knock you flat on your back. I've talked about it on 100 different podcasts. It's at that time when you realize that what are you made of? And when I realized, when life kicked me square in the jaw, and I realized time after time, I'm not really made of too much, I decided for once and for all, I really, truly, 100%, I want to actually be the person that I've always wanted to be. And what I decided to do was this: nothing more and nothing less. I decided I'm going to find out where it isn't, where am I in my life right now, and why don't I like it? Why do I feel the way that I do? And I kept asking a bunch of whys. That's where the awareness came in. That's where I decided, you know what? There's certain things that I settle for in my life that I really shouldn't settle for. I don't have to. There's also other things in my life that I have boundaries that I just let people walk right over. I don't enforce the boundaries. And when I started to realize how I treat myself and how I let others treat me, and then I figured out the most important thing, why. In addition to finding out why, I looked at the history of my life from my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s, and I realized there was a pattern of behavior there that caused me to not be successful. There was a pattern of behavior on my own that when certain challenges and certain opportunities presented themselves, I always chose to be safe. I always chose to be secure. I always chose to be comfortable. Always. Whether it was going in a relationship, whether it was going to be looking at things on how I value what I perceive money to be, whether it was where I lived, everything that I chose in one way, shape, or form was to look for safety and security. And when I realized after a long period of time over my life, when I actually had defined that and I wrote it out and I journaled about it and I looked at it and I just realized I'm not going to settle for that anymore. And I became very uncomfortable because now I have to redefine who I am. So the awareness was a huge part for me. And I hope that's true for you. I hope you take time today to sit out and just become fully aware of where you're at currently in your life right now. Then you have to decide the next step that we talked about in episode number 2. Truly identify, why did you make that decision to go out with that girl? Why did you make that decision to buy that home? Why did you make the decision to take that job? Why did you choose not to call that customer back? Why did you choose to have that conversation the way that you did? When you start to look at these minor things and you realize that just before those major things in your life, just before that major decision, you have to look at a whole bunch of little decisions that you made. When I did that, it actually scared me because I identified exactly why I got into this hole emotionally that I was feeling. I got into this understanding of the patterns of behavior, and I realized I was not nearly as strong as everyone thought I was. I was not nearly as successful as I possibly could be. I realized that I was in prison by my own feelings, my emotions, and my decisions for the need to be safe and secure. And when I identified that, I also realized too that, the life is a catalog. You can choose to have, do, and be anything that you want. And at this moment, on August 2017, on August 22nd of 2017, I had made a decision. I do not want to be the person that I am anymore. I want to make the changes that I need to. And when I started to make those changes that I talk about in the videos, that I talk about on this podcast, that I talk about one-on-one, it is absolutely amazing how every day built upon the next day. And what I ended up finding was who I was as a person. And in that journey, those first 30 days, I started to truly understand everything that I've read about in my life, about personal development, all of the experiences that I had and why I did things, and also realized that I was starting to become free of my past. And it took about 30 days to do. And I'll tell you this, Tony Robbins kind of had a similar experience when he became Tony Robbins on being massively overweight, living in his 400 square foot bachelor apartment in California. And he realized at some point along the way that there's just certain things that he's not going to settle for. He did it right after a run. He sat down and he realized the same thing. And I did the exact same thing. And 30 years ago, I read that. And 30 years later, I applied it. And it was astonishing on what I came up with. So just do what Tony did. I mean, no matter where it is in your life, if you're not happy with where you're at, if you feel that you're stuck, become aware of why it is, identify the reasons you do what you do, identify those things, and then whatever it takes, you have to decide on what you're willing to do. Are you going to go backwards and live in your past? Or are you truly 100% now going to decide and commit to a future that you've always wanted? I'm so uncomfortable today, and I'm grateful for it because I know that every day I'm not where I want to be. I'm not settling. I'm not comfortable. I'm always thinking of what's the next step I need to take. What's the next action I need to do? What are the next steps of actions that I need to take? And more importantly, what are the things that are holding me back and who's holding me back? Because when you decide to be successful and you truly go after your goals, your dreams, your hopes, and your ambitions, you're going to need a game plan. And it's at that time now what you really need to do. Go to launchwithdan.com. If you're feeling passionate, if you're feeling excited about your future and you feel optimism, now is the time where you get on that calendar. You schedule that time for a half an hour. You make that commitment. And what you end up doing then, you get a phone call from me, and we're going to talk for a half an hour. And I'm asking you this, before you make that commitment to take our time together, what you truly want to do is you want to write out, what do you want out of life? Dan, this is what I want. How do I get there? And we're going to talk about it. We're going to apply those principles in the blueprint. And the best part is at the end of our conversation, it's the 4-step and the no comfort zone mindset. You're going to take action. You're going to take action to commit to that person that you've wanted to be, and you're going to take 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 steps. You'll have a game plan of what you can do. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Truly, it's about this. When you truly decide that you want to be successful, and you truly decide that you know the time is now, go to launchwithdan.com. Let's see what happens. Because quite frankly, I'm going to teach you how to start going after your goals in a big way. I'm going to teach you how to be successful. I'm going to teach you based on everything that you've learned about yourself by going through the no comfort zone mindset. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put those things, I'm going to put them out in front of you, and you're going to read your own blueprint, and you are going to be successful on your own terms. Today's the day you commit to yourself. Today's the day you get out of your comfort zone, and today's the day you live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.